Hey everybody, how's it going? Let's take a look at floor 8 of the Kinki no Goku, aka the Forbidden Abyss. The main gimmicks you're going to have to worry about in this stage is far most the power-up walls. You're going to have to hit all three walls to increase the damage of your monsters such that you can deal damage to them. If you don't hit all three power walls before hitting that monster, you're not going to do enough damage and it's going to be a waste. So kind of a pain. The warps here are created by the drone, so that means they will be random warps. And so while it's not completely necessary, it is very difficult to work without warps on this stage. There's also poison mist, and they come out in multiple shots. So if you have 3 or more of the same monster, you're gonna be taking a lot of damage with very high probability. So I would suggest no more than 2, if even. And since all of the monsters on this stage are of samurai type, I would highly suggest bringing samurai slayers if possible. Now, let's review the power-up wall gimmick. So we can see on the first shot that I'm going to try to point to the top right, which will let me hit the right wall, bottom, left, and to hit the samurai minion there on the top. You have to hit all walls without hitting anything between. If you hit anything in between, in between touching power-up balls, it will reset your damage bonus. As you can see here, maybe it was blocked by the lasers, but I hit that drone first. So that drone causes me to lose all of my bonus attack damage and resets it. As you can see there, after I hit that left wall, I hit that minion in the middle, which reset my power-up damage. And you have to hit all 3 to do damage in this stage. So, which also means you're only going to be able to take down one, at most, one bad guy per turn. So it is a little bit, it is imperative that you don't waste too many turns, otherwise bad stuff will happen. Speaking of bad stuff, if you end up powering up 3 times and hitting the drone too many times, you will be able to break it. If you break it, you see that purple skull on there, it will power up the rest of the enemies. So it won't actually kill you, but it will prep all of the other guys on the stage to kill you. So do take care about that. The ochimusha, you see him on the top right, that big number, which is now a glowing 1, which is bad news by the way. It will fire off a defense down blast. So again, it will prep the enemies to do even more damage to you than they already do. So, not a good sign, but it's okay. Once you take down all of the samurais, you drop down the blocks, which allows you to have access to that ochimusha. Now, I could say blocks were a gimmick, but you actually kind of want those blocks there so that you can focus your damage on the minions so that you can take them out. Because otherwise it becomes really hard to take them out without hitting something in between. That blocks allows you to move around, consistently keeping up your bonus damage, and so that you can actually dish out the damage to the proper enemies. Alright, so we're only in battle 2. This stage can take a while, but my party here, we've got Lazani Transcended. He shone pretty brightly even before his Transcension as a great monster for this stage. Transcension makes him even better. Ono no Komachi in her Evo form helps out with the strike shot, really. Putting everybody in that absorption mode kind of helps you clear out the enemies without having to worry about the power-up. In addition, keeping your HP topped up is very important as well. Apple counter slayers, so that means she is able to dish out extra damage, and she will get hit by the enemies, so that's great. And last but not least, Brahma with that wood slayer, as well as wood resistance to help keep your HP up. And just a lot of damage that he can dish out as well. So it's a great solid power team in terms of damage. So you really do want to focus on monsters that can help you whittle down everybody's HP. Alright. Now the important thing to keep in mind is that Muramasa's big attack is actually not very lethal. I think it does around 30k damage, but as you can see, there are a lot of other gimmicks that can make that 30k balloon up to something a little bit more unmanageable. So whether you destroy a drone, whether the ochimusha ends up firing off their defense down blast, those two in combinations especially will be enough to make that blast lethal. But if you can find a way to take them out before that happens, then Muramasa isn't that scary. So do keep that in mind as you progress on the stage. But yeah, I mean, the frustration with this stage is really just the fact that you have to be able to hit all 3 walls somehow without hitting anything else in between, and manage to hit the proper minion to take them out. There are just some times where you're just going to be in a position where it's simply impossible to do that. And, you know, there's only so much you can control in this game, right? With the irregular bounces, well, I guess if you're being Pierce types is a little bit easier, but irregular bounces make that very difficult. Just, you know, movement in general when you clear a stage, you know, they can be moved by other monsters, by your own monsters moving around. Like Onokomachi there is in a really bad spot. But at least Lazani is able to take out who is that? Tokugawa? One of the Tokugawas? And once you take out that Tokugawa, I'm gonna just guess Ieyasu, but that Muramasa will move into a position such that it becomes easier to attack. You know, that previous state, he wasn't going to be able to do anything there, so that was nice. But luckily, Apple was able to find that perfect path through all 3 walls and hit the weak point to boot. That will do a lot of damage. Now this is a little bit annoying. You have to find a way to tuck yourself under there after hitting all 3 walls. This is another one of those where if you're not in the right position, you're going to have a really difficult time getting around this stage. And I'm trying to get that last ochimusha on the bottom, but guess that didn't happen. But at least I took out one of the samurai Zakos there. But if you notice that the ochimusha on the top has a very low cooldown, so we really should have focused him first. But I guess since the fact is I was able to take out at least one guy per turn, it wasn't that bad, and ended up being a perfect run for that stage. That's just lucky. That certainly didn't happen the first time I tried the stage. But yeah, the boss stages is no different. You know, power up walls, take out the samurai Zakos so that the blocks can go down. The blocks will give you access to Tokugawa there, and once you take her out, Muramasa will move to where she was so that you can attack him much easily. And meanwhile, like I said earlier, just take care of the big attack numbers. In this case, we've got an ability locker. You know what happens when that big number comes down. A very strong ability lock attack, making your life miserable. You don't want that. Just don't forget about it. And again, destroying the warp drone will power up enemies. If you see an ochimusha, they will defense down your team. I forget if the ability locker there takes the same trait as that ochimusha, but I do believe he does end up firing that off of me because I wasn't able to take him out in time. And if you are able to hit the boss at the weak point, you do give yourself the opportunity to overkill by quite a decent amount. And while I think the minions do heal the boss, you have a chance to kill him maybe with a critical as well. Those are always nice. But as you can see, without hitting the weak point, you do damage, but it's not ideal. The amount of damage you do if you have all 3 power-up walls and the weak point is pretty crazy. Trying to find the right angle, and I'm not sure I see it. So I guess I'm trying to Yeah, so I get Pierce, so I can hit the 3 walls. So I'm able to hit the 3 walls, but really no opportunity to take out that ability locker or the boss there. So luckily only Brahma ended up being ability locked. I kind of misjudged this here. The damage wall or the power up wall doesn't go that far to the right, so I kind of just barely missed that. So that really nullified the turn, but that's okay. Since he was ability locked, not getting that extra Slayer damage, it's a bit of a bummer. But the good thing here is we were able to take out the ability locker finally. Gives us time to focus on the boss if possible. Unfortunately, hitting it on the wrong side. Want to definitely get there on the top to be able to do damage. And again, Apple's not in a good position here. Maybe I could have hit off the bottom of the Muramasa right wall, bottom, left, top right. But that's what this stage is, right? Sometimes it's just not possible. And this, I would try to go off the top of Muramasa to hit the top, left, and hopefully the bottom. And but that didn't work out. But as you can see, that was what, 32k worth of damage, so not lethal. You know, the drone is still alive, so he wasn't powered up. And luckily, Lazani there was in a perfect position to hit all 3 power-up balls and take out Muramasa there. That's it for this stage. It is, again, super annoying. However, I don't think it took me that many tries as I was afraid of. You know, I remember people complaining about this a lot when I was just, you know, I have no idea how I fit in that block on the left. I thought I was totally going to be able to take out that samurai dude on the top left, but somehow I was able to squeeze in between those blocks and basically do no damage. Apple there is unfortunately trapped. And that's just what these things happen on this stage. But you know, 2 lost turns is not good. Like I said, you are able to take out at most 1 minion on the stage due to the power-up wall gimmick. So losing 2 turns in a row essentially is, you know, I thought it was over at this point, to be honest. That ochimusha is down to 2 and 3, which means, you know, I basically have to be perfect at this point, right? That weak point is kind of tempting, but again, how I hit it that first time is a miracle. Yeah, something like that is what I was expecting, right? Anyways, the blocks go down now, but we have both of those ochimushas active, which is kind of scary. And because the blocks are down, like, if they were still up, that power-up damage would still be alive, and I could be doing more damage elsewhere. Bummer. We also know that a big attack is coming for that ochimusha on the bottom. But, guess there's nothing I can do about it. Oof. So luckily that wasn't enough to kill me. I think we're going for the kill here. Luckily the weak point was in the correct position, right? As you can see, killing the boss will let the ochimushas run away. And a little bit of overkill there. So that's not too bad, but this is where you want to start thinking, if you have Onokomachi in her evo form, to use her pretty early, because if you can infect the minions there with the healing, her strike shot puts them into like that healing mode. Where is it? HP absorption mode, right? It'll fire a meteor down, and then every turn after that, they will be able to heal you up. And the good thing about that is, again, they will do decent damage to those minions and heal you meanwhile. So you actually don't have to worry about them. You can focus on other stuff, hopefully. As you can see, this is looking a little bit scary. Again, I've wasted a pair of turns doing nothing. You see that ochimusha hidden on the bottom under Tokugawa there, which Really hate that positioning. And of course that ability locker on the right is annoying. Everything is annoying with this stage. And looks like I'm not going to use Lazani's strike shot there. Probably waiting until I clean things up a little bit more. And probably since I can't hit Muramasa to activate the weak points. So here we go. We'll put as many monsters as we can into that absorption mode. Luckily I touched that the ochimusha on the bottom, because otherwise that would have been a really sad strike shot. Apple strike shot turns into a pierce, so I don't think I wanted that at this point. Luckily I was able to take out the Tokugawa there. And as you can see, the ability locker died as well. Which could have, I think, saved me there. Maybe. Pretty darn close. But since Tokugawa is gone, that moves Muramasa into her old position, which makes it difficult to hit that ochimusha on the bottom. But again, since Onokomachi's strike shot took effect, that's great. Let's pump up the damage from the weak point now. Kind of unlucky that the weak point wasn't on the top left. That's fine. But now the ochimusha should be dead, healed up to max. We're looking good for the last 5 turns. And again, getting unlucky with the weak point positioning. If it was on the top, that could have killed it. But finally we get that top weak point, and Apple is able to finish the job there. Whew. This is not a fun stage. Power up walls is not a gimmick I enjoy. Even, was it El Dorado? I still don't like that stage. Every time I have to do the Jades 2, that is probably the stage I hate the most out of all of them. So, yeah, bad memories. That's it. Alright. That's it for me today. That was floor 8, was it? Yeah, that was the 8th floor of the Kinki no Goku. Thank you for watching, and until next time. Bye bye.